Hi, everybody. Welcome to Shefan Pro's Empowered Women in Blockchains. I'm delighted to have you all here and watching back on the replay. Please subscribe and like the channel and follow us on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. For now, we have our fabulous guest speaker. I'm delighted to introduce you all to our first time guest speaker, the lovely Mariam Nusrat, the founder of Grid. Mariam, what can I say? Thank you for joining us today. I'm really overjoyed that you're here. We've had conversations before and the work that you're doing is just amazing, and your journey as well. I know it inspired me tremendously, and I know it will inspire so many others as well of our viewers that will be watching this recording back. So please, without further ado, Mariam, please take it away and feel free to introduce yourself to our viewers.
For sure. Thank you so much, Shelley, for having me. I'm just so inspired by the work you do. So I think it's a mutual fan club. So I'm super excited to be here and sharing my journey. I'm Mariam, and I'm the founder of Grid, a gaming revolution for international development. And the big thorny issue that we're trying to tackle, Shelley, is basically unleashing the power of no code for creation of video games. So think about the fact, like, video games are really powerful communication tools, and they can be immensely powerful for storytelling, for entertainment, but even purposes beyond entertainment. Like, they could be very powerful educational tools or social impact tools or marketing and training tools. But making video games is very complicated. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming. So, money, time, skills, and money is always there, somewhere there in the problem. Those are big barriers in the way of people being able to create video games. And what we're doing is we're breaking those barriers by empowering people to create their own video games without any coding, without any design skills, and at lightning speed. So if you think about it, it's like what Canva did for presentations and all of that, we're trying to do for video games, where you can go on, you can choose a template, and without any big need to learn how to code or big need to know how to design. It's completely no code, drag and drop options. And these games are pre-coded for you, and then you're able to make your own video games. And the lightning speed, it's actually kind of interesting. So the word Breshna, which is the name of the platform. So breshna.io, that's where you go and you make your own video games. It allows you to make games with no code and at lightning speed. And the word itself means lightning in the Pashto language, which is my mother tongue. So I'm originally from Pakistan, and I moved to the US around 10 years ago. And for us, it was really just cool to be able to bring that together, the story and the product and the vision. And so Breshna creates video games at lightning speed. So that's kind of where we are with the product. I'd love to tell you a little bit about how I ended up being this person, who's non-tech, not consider myself a serious gamer. So I haven't spent 7 hours playing Call of Duty, but I do spend several hours on my mobile phone playing puzzle games or Candy Crush games, and how I ended up, being the founder of a gaming studio of all places. But
Wow.
That's kind of the big idea.
Wow. I mean, I love this.
Great.
Because, myself coming from a non-tech background, and 7 or 8 years ago, not being able to copy and paste, I can really relate to this, and it's so lovely to meet somebody that has that sort of similar background, really, and actually being in this space, and it's so amazing. And yeah, I'm just fascinated. What happened? How did you get from being sort of a non-tech and not really a huge gamer playing Candy Crush or whatever, to suddenly where you are today, which is absolutely massive?
Yeah, it's been a wild journey, right? And I think, Shelley, a lot of times they have this saying in the tech startup world that sometimes you create a solution and then you go look for a problem that it retrofits, right? So you're like, hey, I've made this product, whose pain am I solving? We came at it from living the pain and knowing the pain, right, and the problem. So basically, I'm an economist by academic training. I have one master's in econ, one master's in international development studies. And I spent 12 years actually at the World Bank in education policy. So, working with 22 different countries, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, Middle East, in education and how to make education better. And no matter what country I was in, no matter what Minister of Education I was sitting across from, the one problem that's always the same is learning is boring, right? So unfortunately, even though we're targeting a young audience with education, often it's so boring. It's a little bit archaic, and I think it came even more to attention during COVID, where we moved to remote learning, but we really didn't do anything different remote. I mean, it was just the exact same thing that we were doing in the classrooms. We just moved in and we continued to do that. So as someone who was experiencing this aspect of learning, but not just learning, but purposeful communication. So not just the learning that's happening in classrooms, but when you want to raise awareness around health or financial literacy or climate action or any other topic where you're trying to build awareness, it's always, here's a brochure, here's a workshop, go change your behavior. And we know that's not how behavior change works. I mean, for anyone who's tried to lose weight or quit smoking or any of these, behavior change or habitual changes, behavior change is very hard to do. And I think Fitbit did for health, they gamified health. And I think that we wanted to go, counting steps and having leaderboards and having competition. That gamification of it, I wanted to go one step forward and create video games that could make purposeful communication fun. So 8 years ago, I actually started a not-for-profit. And the big idea was we were a gaming studio and we were creating mobile games for positive behavior change. And these were games that were compatible for a global audience. So they were compatible with $20 smartphones. They were in all sorts of different languages, representative of different contexts, different art, music, languages, all of that, because not every game has to have the New York City skyline with the yellow cabs. We do have a global, there's 1 billion video game players around the world. And unfortunately, most of the games are being made in the West. So I wanted this idea of, a globally representative, game that could have that global appeal. So we created games on menstrual health and reproductive health, and we made games on COVID-19 awareness and, animal welfare and structural racism and just issues that could otherwise be very serious, but we tried to raise awareness around them and start the conversation with mobile games. And over the 8 years, I think we realized that while games are very powerful communication tools, if we remain the maker of the game, if we remain the gaming studio, the scale is limited, right? Because how many games are we going to be able to make in a year? Like 5, 7, it's like, there's an upper limit to that. And the games we were making were not very complicated games. These were the hyper casual genre of games that look like Tetris and bingo and stuff like that. And that's where I said, you know what? We need to flip the narrative. We need to flip the script. Let's empower our audience to be able to make their own video games, because we should not be the ones making the games, because there's always that representation level that's going to come in. So let's empower our audience to make their own video games, tell their own story. And that was the birth of Brush Now.
Wow. And I love that sense of empowerment as well. And really, empowering and liberating, your audience, it's just amazing. So how does it work then? Because you say there's no code and, everything. So, can you explain that to our audience, so who maybe are themselves coming from a non-tech background?
For sure. And I think I can tell you a little bit, but I'd also love to show it to you, because I think, I'd love the product to speak for itself. So just a little bit of context, Shelley. So we started building in March of 2021. So almost over a year now, it's like that we've been building the product. And the big idea was to have these pre-coded video game templates that have already been coded for you, right? So whether it's Hangman, or whether it's something like Super Mario, like, a run and catch game, or whether it's something like Wordle, which has taken the internet by storm, but you can make your own Wordle, or you can make your own Tetris kind of game. So really picking up this hyper casual genre of games and then allowing people to not only customize them in terms of the visuals and the music and all of that, but also allow them to put in their own text within the game. So one of the things that you can then do is that then you're able to say, whether you're making a math game where you're running and catching all the even numbers and dodging all the odd ones, or we've seen people make, Trevor Noah game and makeup and Halloween and prom proposals, but we've also seen education and we've seen social impact, climate action, but marketing and training. I'd love to make a She Fan Pro game where we have the 10 facts about She Fan Pro, and we can do that literally in less than 15 minutes. So that's kind of where it is. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer that. And then I'd love to share my screen and show it to you.
Yeah, I was making a run and catch game the other day. Great fun, super easy. Oh yeah.
That's awesome, Joanne.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you tried it out. And for anyone who wants to try it out, right, it's breshna.io. It's actually in my name as well, breshna.io. And the big idea is you go on there and you just create a login. It's completely free, no cost involved. You make an account and you start making your own video games. So without further ado, Shelley, could I share my screen and show it?
Please go ahead. I believe I've made you the host.
Awesome, very cool. So here we go. So this is it's a quick preview video that shows you some of the editor screens and then what the game comes out to be and just how quickly you can make them. So it's 2 minutes, so I'll play it now. So that kind of gives you a flavor, of the different kinds of games that you can make on Bresh now.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that just looked fun doing that, didn't it? Just even building it.
When I was on it, I loved it.
Yeah. And I think, the fact that, it's so simple and fun to do and gives, people an opportunity to do something that they probably never thought was possible, and to do it as well in record time, like you say, in lightning time. I mean, it ticks so many boxes, doesn't it? And in fact, I'm going to be also sharing this with my daughter, because I know that she's absolutely going to love this, so I can't wait to share it with her. But absolutely amazing. So, what are the plans moving forward, or do you have any plans moving forward? How might people, what could people do with this potentially? I mean, because it just seems so magical to me.
Thanks so much, Shelley and Joanne, for trying it out. Again, I mean, the big idea is that people can go on there and make their own video games. Like you saw, it's like you just choose your own avatars and everything, and then you put in the text, or you can make it completely visual, and then once you hit publish, you get a URL link. And that URL link, you can put it on your website, you can send it on Telegram, on WhatsApp. So it's not an app you need to download or something. You can take your game wherever you want it. You can put it on LinkedIn, on Twitter, wherever you want to share it. And that's part of we want that ability that you can create and share your own video games. Now, what's been wild, Shelley, is over the past, around 11 months that we've been building this is all pre-marketing. So we've been focusing on building, but we've been building in public. So we've gathered what we call our community, which is the Bolt Squad, because lightning, thunder, bolts. So they carry our thunder. So our Bolt Squad, over the past 11 months, we've had 14,000 users that have created more than 5,000 video games, and they come from across 84 different countries. So 5,000 games created by 2,000 people and then played by around 14,000 people from 84 different countries in different languages. So one of the beauties of Breshna is whatever your keypad is in, that is the language you can input into your game, right? So if you saw that seek and smash one or the run and catch one, you can put in an English word, but then we've seen games in Spanish and Arabic and Urdu and all kinds of languages because it's synced to your keypad. Now, the two things that we kept hearing from our users, right? They've loved what they can do on it and they've loved what they can build on it. But the two things, and this is the beauty of building in public, when you build with your community, you respond to their needs. So one question that they kept asking was, how can I upload my own assets into the game, right? So it's cool that there's a unicorn, but maybe I want I want a different background or something. How can I upload that? So that got us started. That's where we started thinking about this idea of potentially an NFT marketplace, where not only are you uploading your own assets, but then you can also have your own ownership. So think about it. If you have a Bored Ape, or if you have, a music that's an NFT clip, or a background that's an NFT clip, you can now upload that into the NFT marketplace. We verify the ownership from your wallet, and then you can put it in your own video game. So we've had, for instance, an investor who has a Bored Ape, and we put it in the run and catch game for her, because it's like basically you're running and you're catching, and you can make the Bored Ape game about your own Bored Ape, or you can make it about whatever, right? So that happens. And then on the other side, the other pain point that we kept hearing was, I am very proud of what I just made. I don't just want to send a link. I want to show it off. Like, I want to show off my game, and I want my community to come to a place. And so again, something that's on chain. So we have this off chain, which is right now Breshna.io, but we're building two components on chain. So the NFT marketplace, and the other piece is a virtual carnival. So the Breshnaverse will be a metaverse, which will actually be like a real life carnival, where if you are a maker, Shelley, and you created a game, then you can have a little carnival stand where Joanne can come and play your game and pay you in tokens. Right? So the Breshna utility token will be the underlying token that links the marketplace and the virtual carnival. And together, basically, makers will be able to build their own community, but also bring it together and not just create and share, but also monetize and own. Right? So that's what Web3 gives you, this power that you're creating and sharing your games, but then you own the NFTs that go into it. So they have a value outside, whether it's the NFTs you're bringing from outside into Breshna, or whether it's Breshna NFTs that you're using and you want to take them outside. And then on the other side, you're monetizing all of that, because now you're content creators. And if you made a really, really cool game, you have the opportunity to earn in tokens that have an outside value. So we're psyched about this Web3 layer. The token is launching in July. We're doing the private sale of our token right now. And then the virtual carnival is coming out in October. So the rest of the year is going to be insane as we enter the Web3 world.
This is amazing.
No wonder you're excited. I'm excited. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
That's
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. So, there must be a community somewhere that people can join if they want to join and be part of this community, and get excited about all this and keep appraised of the developments and everything else, and keep it sort of in the loop, if you like. Tell us, please, where is this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so Shelley, we're actually, because if you think about it, we're quite a few different communities, right? And everything. Like, if you think about it, we have our content creators that are the TikTokers of the world that are making videos, but now they want to make their own video games. We have educators, parents, and students that want to create video games that can make education or social impact fun. We have small business owners that want to make video games on marketing and training. And this is such a cool way to market your small business and the work you do. And then we have the Web3 gaming community, which so far has been very focused on play to earn, right? So it's been, okay, go into a game, play, and then you for earning. Axie is a great example of that, Axie Infinity. And we're trying to take it to play and earn, where you're not just there to play, but to earn, but you're there to play and earn. Like, the utility of the platform, which we've already established, is established before the token comes on. But then also a make and earn, right? With video games, what Breshna brings to light is this ability for you to make the game and then also have the players come in. So we have our makers, our players, and the NFT owners, all of which are monetizing in the Breshna economy. So in order to join our community, Twitter is the place where we're building in public. So you get constant updates. So that's one of the best ways. It's at Gaming for Dev, GAMINGFORDEV. So that's where I build in public. I share every part of the journey, not just on the product side, but also how to be a woman entrepreneur, fundraising with Web 2 and Web 3, equity tokens, all of that fun stuff that I'm learning in public. The other way to really keep posted is to go on breshna.io and register, because not only are you then making games, but you're on our mailing list. So every time a new feature comes out, you're the first to find out. So we would love that. And then, it's like we're on Telegram at Breshna Game, BRESHNAGAME. So you can contact me directly, or you can email me at mariam.nusrat@gamingfordev.com. So what I can do is, I don't know, Shelley, if it's useful, but I can list these out, and maybe we can put them in a chat or with the notes when we share this with our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And Mariam, yes, absolutely. If you can share a list, we can get that added, and then obviously any of our viewers watching know exactly where they need to go to be involved, really, and to get involved and take part in this, because this is absolutely tremendous. I love what you're doing, and I love as well something that you said there. Not only do you share about the products and everything, but you also share your journey with your audience, as a female entrepreneur, in this space, which is fascinating, isn't it? Because, let's be honest, it is still a male dominated space, isn't it? Very much so. So to share your own personal journey, especially coming from the background that you have with the non-tech background and everything else, it's really inspirational, certainly to me, and I know it will be to many others as well, to kind of be part of that journey with you, through that sharing, and that's really lovely. So and I think it can motivate so many people, because I think everybody has days where they perhaps feel a little bit deflated or whatever. I know I do at times, and I think to see somebody such as yourself, share that real journey in real time and say, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, can really, give you a boost as well, can't it? It's encouraging, isn't it? Because that you don't feel as alone in the space, because I think all of us, and men included, can feel alone at times, can't they? We all have our down days, and so to share that story is powerful.
I believe so strongly in that, Shelley, because when I came to this a year ago, I mean, I'm not only non-tech, I have a non-business background. I did not know anything about fundraising. I did not know anything about what makes a business venture backed, right? So not every business can go and raise VC money or investor money. And then, I mean, so the learning curve was just so steep. And I did not have the luxury of warm introductions because I didn't know anyone around me. I did not have the luxury of friends and family around because my friends and family do not have a lot of cash to throw on my startup or something. So I think for me, I completely ascribe to that. I think it is a lonely journey, and the mantra that I've taken is that the cake gets bigger with collaboration, right? I mean, rather than competing over a small slice of cake, and this idea that you have to build in stealth in a room, like just shut off because someone may steal your idea. I've just put it out there every single day because stealing ideas is easy, stealing execution is hard, right? I mean, what makes an idea successful is not the idea, it's how you execute it. And once people start watching you execute, they rally behind you. That's the power of community, is they come behind you because they see your passion and then they want to build with you. And why build alone? Why build in isolation when you can build with the whole community around you? And I think for me, Twitter has done that, where I've always had this this philosophy of give first and pay it forward, right? I mean, if I've learned a lesson around, be it valuations on safe and equity and post money valuation and how to do fundraising, or be it like, okay, now how do I spin off into like, I'm building this Web3 layer, like how do you build a team, or whether it's like, very product centric, I've just always gone to the community and said, hey, you know what, this is how I figured it out. You want to use my templates, you want to take my pitch deck, you want to take the white paper, everything is public. Like, I see that as a form of validation and flattery if someone picks it up and uses it as a source of inspiration. So I think perseverance, passion, and purpose, that's what gets me through my down days, because you're right, the founder journey has a lot of downs. And if you show up every single day with purpose and have your passion drive you, it makes the journey easier.
Absolutely, absolutely. And absolutely couldn't agree with you more, with everything that you've just said there. The very spirit of She Fan Pro, for example, is that, nobody gets left behind and nobody dines alone, so to speak. It's a lonely experience to sit alone in any journey, whatever that is. And, there's great power in coming together and really, sharing your experiences and really, the spirit of coming together and building strong relationships, suddenly becomes very, very powerful and very, very enjoyable as well. It makes everything more pleasant, doesn't it? Who wants to dine alone? And nobody. So I love that because it's so aligned with the spirit of She Fan Pro. I absolutely love that, and actually it's a very, very clever approach to have, that sadly doesn't occur to many people out there in the business world. That's one thing I discovered. So I love that. So wow, I'm just blown away with you, and I feel so privileged to have met you, and to be working with you, with She Fan Pro and yourself. I'm really honoured to be part of what you're doing and your journey, because it's absolutely amazing, and it's going to make such a difference to so many people as well. And you should be tremendously proud of your achievements, because my goodness, it's completely inspiring. I mean, wow.
You were so kind and so generous, Shelley. The privilege and honor is all mine. I think like the work you're doing is fabulous, and I think I am just so pleased to have like cross paths with you. And that's the beauty of the global world, right? I mean, like it's Telegram, it's Twitter, that's where it's happening, and that's where no one has to dine alone, because you just reach out and there's always people who rally behind you. And I think I cannot take any credit for the progress we've made. It's like, I mean, I have a team of 20 game developers and designers behind me, that a lot of them are in Pakistan. And I think that's, again, the power of a global world. I mean, where you can tap onto high quality, capital efficient talent, it's like, and just really bring those perspectives together, and that diversity of perspective, diversity of talent, it's just so important. And I think I wouldn't be here, without my community, the team, the users, the investors, everyone, they just rally behind you. And I think I'm just very, very lucky to have had that experience.
Yeah. I love that. And, for me, that's a mark of real leadership right there. This is the epitome for me of real leadership. And, kudos to you and highest respect to you, because, you're humble, and you are indeed a beautiful soul. And I know you're going to make a real difference to so many people out there, and inspire so many women as well in what is still a male-dominated space, to actually, that you can have a seat around that table and you need not ever dine alone again. And I love that. Thank you very much.
Of course. And I actually think, Shelley, just on that note, I feel like our own imposter syndrome is often the biggest roadblock, right? It's like, I mean, the seats are being created. And I think often I've questioned myself if I belong. I mean, after 8 years in the video games industry, I'm like, I don't know if I'm good enough to be here, right? And everything. And I've spent 8 years, and I've fundraised, and I've built, and I'm here. And I think, like, that self-doubt, like, if we can just, tell ourselves we belong, and running like a girl actually means winning the race. I think that's going to be really important and powerful. So I'm inspired by you and the work you're doing, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely. And having that self-belief and is so important, isn't it? Because, I think everybody gets self-doubt, and, whether it's imposter syndrome or whatever you want to call it, maybe it's just, being human at times. And, we often find discomfort in challenges, don't we? And when we step out of our comfort zone and start learning new things and branching out into new ventures, that's when we can feel that discomfort. And actually what that shows is not weakness or failing, but actually what that shows is that we're growing. And that's a magical thing.
Best things are built out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yep. Joanne, that's correct. Absolutely. When we start to feel that discomfort, we know that we're growing, and that's a beautiful thing. So, wow, Mariam, thank you so much. I would so love to have you back here at Chiffon Pro as a guest speaker. I know that we're going to be working collaboratively as well in the future, moving forward as well. And I'm very honoured for you to be part of Chiffon Pro in that way. It's a real honour. So thank you so much. I don't know, Joanne, if you have any questions before we wrap up.
No, that was it. I loved it. I'm excited for it, me. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
You need to make a game.
I know. I think we might have to have a Chiffon Pro game.
For sure. I think we should do a Chiffon Pro game.
Yeah.
I think we definitely will.
But thank you so much, Shelley. Thanks, Joanne, for having me, and thank you for this conversation. I really appreciate it. And
I appreciate you too. Thank you. And everybody, thank you for watching back on this recording. I really appreciate all the audience, all the community. I appreciate you all. And if you have any questions or you want to reach out and connect with us, it's chiffonpro.co.uk. And obviously we've got Mariam Nusrat here. Mariam, share your email again, not your email, sorry, your website again for any of our viewers.
Absolutely. So it's breshna.io, 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 which is where you go, you make your own video games. There's a contact us form, there's the email on there, the Twitter's on there. So that's your one-stop shop to get in touch with us.
That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And we'll leave it there, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.